from a helicopter from WJZ in Baltimore. We were watching police taking down some demonstrators, some protesters, people who were attacking the police car.
We have officers deployed throughout the city to make sure that we can continue to deliver police services to the citizens of Baltimore, and we will continue to keep the city safe.
Excuse me. All right, move on. Nothing to see here. Please disperse. Nothing to see here, please. Here we go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Jasper Gonzo here. Another episode of the What's Next. We're going to focus on local. And normally I don't localize my videos, but this is close to home for me in the East Coast. Remember the Baltimore riots, of 2015, 2016 fame? Because of a lie, the Freddie Grey lie that he was beaten up and shot by police. Of course, after the trial and the facts of the case bore out, none of the police were guilty of anything. Freddie Grey brought this on himself. But Governor Hogan, who had the powers back then to stifle things, especially when it came to the government side of Baltimore, did nothing. He allowed Baltimore to burn. Now, 6 years later, 7 years later, he's now threatening to withhold the monies unless Baltimore can straighten up and fly right regarding its recent crime wave. Now you put the threats out with this, but 6 years ago, you didn't. How does that make sense? But let's read. This comes out of BLiesM Media. Maryland Governor Larry Hogan announces investigation into Baltimore City Attorney Marilyn Mosby. Yes, that same Marilyn Mosby who was there 6 years ago and used her bully pulpit, to say, hey, Freddie Grey, he's okay. You did nothing then. Now you want to do something. Amid the crime wave, threatens to withhold funding. Amid a recent string violent crime, including strings of high-profile homicides that rocked the city over the last 2 weeks, Maryland Republican Governor Larry Hogan made a series of announcements today regarding his efforts to bring crime under control to the beleaguered city. Among other measures, Hogan promised an investigation into the office of controversial Baltimore City Attorney Marilyn Mosby. My opinion, she's trash. Who made national news earlier this year when she announced that her office will no longer prosecute low-level crimes like prostitution and drug possession. Yes, this is Las Vegas East. Mosby's stated theory when announcing her new policy was that the data suggests there was no public safety value in prosecuting low-level offenses. Yes, because prostitution does nothing. You know what? Whoring yourself, that's okay. When it comes to drug possession, that's okay because it doesn't affect you. It just affects the person taking the drugs. Yes, because when you got, slugs and scumbags on the corners who are dealing drugs to your little 5-year-olds, that's okay, according to Marilyn Mosby. In practice, it has not worked out that way. A number of neighborhoods in Baltimore have seen severe deterioration in the quality of life since Mosby's edict, leading a group of over 40 businesses to threaten to withhold taxes until crime prevention is improved. In addition to quality of life issues, violence crime is back on the rise in Baltimore for the 7th straight year. Yes, you're going for records. Homicides in the city have surpassed a total of 300. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the city's creation of no-shoot zones has actually succeeded in creating areas where shootings do not occur. No-shoot zones, like no gun zones. Defund the police. Those things. In a Tuesday press conference, Governor Hogan stated, people are being shot nearly every single day in Baltimore. Fact, we have an obligation to do something about it right now. With all the actions we have announced today, I want those families and all the victims of victims of violence to know that we will not stop pursuing those criminals who are terrorizing our community. Ooh! We will continue to use every tool at our disposal and make these neighborhoods safer and get these violent shooters off the streets. Yes. You tell him, Hogan. Hogan took particular aim at Mosby's office. In a letter sent to Mosby, demanded an accounting of her office using state crime prevention funds, including specifically an accounting of the number of cases your office has chosen not to prosecute, including a breakdown of reasons for non-prosecution, quote, end of quote, as well as, quote, the number of cases plead down to lesser charges, including plea arguments reached at a less mandatory minimum sentences guidelines. The governor's office threatened that all funding for your office will be placed under evaluation pending the fulfillment of this request and review of the data produced. Additionally, Governor Hogan announced that he was fast-tracking and expanding the neighborhood safety grant programs, which provide hardware upgrades, lighting, cameras, increased security devices for community organizations and business districts, including places of worship and vulnerable communities. Hogan also promised to reintroduce crime legislation during an upcoming December special session of the Maryland legislature. In response, Mosby lashed out at Hogan, calling his remarks a political stunt, and defended her office prosecution of violent crime. Quite candidly, he's concerned with more than pointing the finger at everyone else as opposed to actually leading and delivering for the city that is the heartbeat of this state. Regarding the situation in Baltimore, being that this, like I said in the beginning of this hits close. This is a situation that has been ongoing for Baltimore for many a year, not just the past year or two, many a year. 7 straight years of high-profile crimes. The fact of the matter is that Baltimore, along with Chicago, are 2 of the worst when it comes to crimes in the country. They're constantly top 3, and they're constantly fighting for who's number 1. As I said at the beginning of this video, Hogan had the opportunity to stifle Mosby when the Baltimore riots hit under then a former mayor whose name escapes me right now, but I'm sorry, Blake. There it is. It just popped in my head. Yes, former Mayor Blake. As I said, Mosby's trash. She's incompetent. She's an ignorant. She is a Sharpton wannabe. Remember when this situation regarding Freddie Grey occurred. She was there standing on her soapbox, yelling, "Oh, we need to do something. Oh, we need to do something." And Hogan, it's your fault. She pointed fingers at Hogan then. She points fingers at Hogan now. Hogan, to me, has been a disappointment as governor. He's a rhino, Republican in name only. He had no love for Trump for his 4 years. He fought Trump for 4 years. So no surprising there. But when you now threaten to withhold funding, because unless you do something, Mosby, you know what? I'm going to withhold the monies. So instead of doing your job 7 years ago, when you could have got rid of Mosby and you could have brought somebody possibly competent, but then again, we are talking about Baltimore. We are talking about a one-party state, a Democrat party state, a socialist party state. Look at the city members, city council members. It's no surprise that Baltimore is a dump of a city. It is, sorry. When you rely so heavily on the Ravens, when you rely so heavily on the Baltimore Orioles, Baltimore has good people. But at the end of the day, if you don't have competent political leadership, no matter how great the people are in that city, they're going to suffer. They suffered during the Baltimore riots. 7 years later, they're still suffering now. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.